All right, guys, welcome back. How you guys doing today?
Great.
Great.
Awesome.
Yeah, I don't know where to begin. I mean, obviously, we talk a lot about what's coming up in the golf season. Marty, you're golfing, but yeah, what's going on in the world? I think I mean, there's a lot of things happening.
We got
Transfer portal.
yeah, it's awesome, isn't it?
The transfer portal has.
It's like a merry-go-round.
Yeah.
It's
Get out,
crazy. Like
get
you
on,
just
get
look
off.
at that list, and if you're a college coach, you just start probably highlighting. Yeah, we'll take. Yep, let's look for him. Let's look. I mean, it's the names in there. So
Yeah.
Flo, yeah, of course, are all over AJ Ferrari, and the speculation of him returning to Iowa is that Marty? Is that bridge gone?
I think so.
You don't think Iowa
Unless-
said, hey, for 1 year, let's bring him in, and maybe they bring the other Ferrari, and they have 3 Ferraris in their lineup?
Yeah, no.
Well,
I don't know. I don't think so. And he'd have to go back down to 97 for sure.
Well, and I think wasn't that some of the talk? Maybe I mean, like he could do 97, but 97 at Nebraska, they already have McDaniel, and
Yeah.
they got a young guy at heavyweight that they want to bring in. So,
But if you think about it, if all 3 of them go there, they could save some money on rent.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you guys think, but I think it actually probably makes the most sense for him to go to Iowa, as opposed to anywhere else. I mean, obviously there's a Ferrari in there, and he did say that, I think he attempted to see how big he could get, and I think his frame just doesn't hold as much as he thought he could, and he's only like 230. Which I don't know if you guys know this, but a lot of the 97 pounders in college, they're floating around in the off season right around 230. So,
Yeah.
I think he is a 197 pounder.
Yeah, his size definitely came in when he wrestled Bastida, right? If you look at those two, they're like a man versus a child.
Mm-hmm.
Ferrari's no small guy, pretty strong, but I think kind of opened his eyes. He's not winning at heavyweight. 97 now. He's probably got just as good a shot,
Yeah, he could take third. Or something.
He could. Yeah.
He could win it too.
He could. Yeah. Well,
I mean,
you
never know. He maybe pulls the upset and beats Barr.
Well, there's going to be a couple other guys. I mean, I don't know if McAnally goes up or if he stays at 84, but I mean.
What about does Elam have any left?
I think he's done.
He's done.
He did his 7 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And he came out with a little video talking about, his injury. And I guess before we get into that, I mean, we could jump over to that real quick, but the Elam thing, he got injured at Big 12s in the finals and supposedly tore his LCL, and then he got surgery. So he's got a video right now on his Instagram where his knees are all surgeried up, right?
Yeah.
And so it begs the question, sometimes these guys get a lot of flack for missing competitions and stuff, but he wins the Big 12, so he's healthy in the Big 12 finals.
Right.
He gets injured. Nationals, he's not healthy. So, like, is conference too close to the Nationals?
No. When are you going to do it?
Good question. If I mean, I'm curious about when we get back into the transfer portal and the NIL stuff. Like, man, this is a big investment. These are colleges are putting up, $1 million. From what I understand, Iowa State is in the rev share. They're giving $1 million of revenue to the wrestling program. Penn State, they get $1.5 million to the rev share program to the university or wrestling. And I don't know the others, but those are the two top of my mind. I don't know. At what point do you start polling guys for conference to make sure that they can wrestle 5 good matches or 4 good matches at the Nationals?
If you look at, I think what may happen is more of the medical red shirts then.
Say that
or
again.
not medical forfeits in the conference, like in the finals, like a few years ago at Nebraska. Remember, Marty? I mean,
Oh, it
almost
was
got.
terrible.
But at the same time, I mean, he could medical in the finals and the week of nationals get hurt at practice. I mean, it's the
Exactly.
nature. I mean, you can't be afraid of getting hurt and not, I don't, that mindset can't be out there, right?
Everybody's hurting at the end
I
of the
mean,
year.
he could have been 100% and tweaked in the first match at nationals and limped
Yeah.
through it and not play. So I mean,
But you'd rather
it's the nature of the sport.
Sure, but you'd feel better about tweaking your knee at nationals and getting injured as opposed to getting injured the 2 weeks before.
Yeah, you can slip on ice.
Are you ever
It's
gonna
not
feel
in
good
Ames.
about it?
There's a lot of ice in Ames.
There
You can
is.
slip on ice and blow his knee out. You can do anything. You can trip
Yeah.
over a curb.
Yeah.
You know.
No, there's
It's
a lot
life.
of. I get it. I'm with you. I just know that when you invest in stuff, you want to make sure. Again, nobody's investing in conference championships. End of story. Nobody's investing in conference championships.
Yeah, but you got to qualify somehow, and then when you get these guys start medical forfeiting, I think it's a hard way to, even to put them in their seeds afterwards. I mean, we can put them at, but he got hurt, he took 5th or 6th place at the Big Tens. Well, and that's what you're going to get seated at then.
Right.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, AJ Ferrari or Angelo Ferrari, prime example. He defaults.
Yeah, right.
And really, the difference.
That I don't. But then I don't get that then when they medical forfeit at the nationals, because then you do have time to recover and have surgery and stuff and just wrestle 1 or 2 more matches. I mean, it could have made a big difference in the scoring as a team.
Yeah. Well, it was 30 points, right? From Iowa. 30 points made up. Can you make that up?
Not with one guy.
There was 2 though, right? No, it was his brother. Thinking of him.
Yeah.
So it's still tough sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to the transfer portal. I don't know if you saw a little letter that Chris Ayers put out, Stanford head coach, but he's talking about how he's going to kind of lose his entire team. And the conversation around it is, one, they're all graduating. So first, how can you graduate college in 3 years?
Because they're smart kids at Stanford.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's all.
I know a lot of kids that do that.
Both of my nephews are graduating in 3 years at Iowa.
Yeah.
And they're going to be doctors.
Yeah, good friend of mine's daughter.
You can't graduate. You can't be a doctor in 3 years.
No, I'm saying they're going to be doctors. I mean, that's what they're going to do. They go to medical school.
Okay.
And
some kids load up on classes.
You can get so much credit in high school now towards college. It's crazy.
Okay. I guess I was just curious about what your thought.
I think it's horrible.
I feel like what is a college? I feel like you got to go longer to get the actual education. You got to be reading the books for a number of years. 3 years. I mean, man, that's fast. But either way, all those kids are graduating, and so they're all entering the portal. National champs. I think one All-American and another guy national qualifier. None of those guys were recruited by Ayers, so they are from a different recruiting class. But yeah, what do you guys think about Stanford losing their team? And they got 4th at what did they get? 4th or 5th at nationals?
Well, they didn't get 4th because Iowa did.
Okay, they got 5th or 6th, right? They were
right
on
the
the
cusp. They had a great tournament. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Right.
But the kid that won is a sophomore, isn't he?
I thought he was a freshman.
Freshman or sophomore?
We'll find out. He might not have graduated, but
but he's leaving.
He entered the portal.
Who did?
Valencia. Yeah, 2000.
No, not from Stanford though. I thought the Valencia from NC State or somewhere entered the portal.
Well, it seems like everybody in the entire country entered the portal.
Yeah, North Carolina State or whatever, NC State.
Yeah, they lost.
What the heck?
Yeah,
I just don't get that part of it.
So here's a question now. We're talking portal. When you're looking at that portal and you're a certain team and you're going to need a 25-pounder, do you go after Provo for 1 year or do you go after Robinson for the multi-year?
Right.
Well, it depends on what team, right? What team? I mean, Provo is got a lot of talent, so I think he is definitely a heavy favorite. I think Robinson. The challenge with Robinson is the executive order. I still don't really know if that's all like official or not, but like the idea of transferring only one time, that they're trying to make that a rule that you only can transfer one time.
which would be great. Because
It would be, but it wouldn't be good for. It would take forever to get contracts organized because why would you go to college unless you have something ironed out for at least 3 years, 4 years? You'd have to make a 3 or 4 year contract with the college so that you knew that, okay, I'm going to do this for 3 years and then I'm going to renegotiate or enter the portal in the 4th year or the 3rd year. So it could be better. I think you're probably right. It could be better, but it's going to take the pre-commitment part. It's going to take that a little bit longer.
Maybe. Yeah.
I just don't, whatever.
Yeah, I don't see. Right, it was Valencia. I don't see his name on the list.
Yeah, he might not be in yet.
Yeah,
He was a freshman or sophomore, I thought.
Yeah.
The other thing is, but when you think of schools being able to retain talent through NIL opportunities, Stanford seems to be the place that you could.
But I think the problem is getting into Stanford, right? You don't just get in because you're an athlete.
No, it's very hard.
Right. So even if you're going through the portal process of, Stanford could say, hey, we want this guy, but I mean, if they're not meeting the academics or whatever, I would think they might be at a little disadvantage.
No, they're definitely not going to get transfers. What I'm saying is, don't you think that they would have the ability to keep their guys because they're in the wealthiest county in the entire United States?
I mean, yeah. Unless they can't. Those two guys are grad transfers, so are they not allowed to compete as a grad at Stanford?
Not in Stanford. I don't think Stanford's considered Ivy League.
But Cornell is, right? So if you're a grad student, you have to.
Yeah, you have to move on.
Which is crazy.
I don't think Stanford's considered Ivy League, though.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
No.
But the majority of those kids that go to Stanford, I think they actually want to get a degree too. I think that's kind of an important thing for them, right? Wouldn't you think?
It goes a long way, I think.
Like this guy from Nebraska who's back in the portal again. Like, where's he going to get his diploma from if he's going to get one? They just going to put all four schools on it?
University of Phoenix, is that one where you mail in the money or?
Yeah.
They only gave me the last college that I went to. I didn't get a partial degree from anywhere.
They didn't have all of them listed underneath.
Yeah, I could pull up a video clip from Flow Wrestling that would make you guys laugh. That they were talking about me on the podcast, and they said Dalton Bullard is the transfer portal before the transfer portal.
You were the portal. You started the whole thing.
You invented it.
Yeah, and I did not. Unfortunately, I did not get paid very well at all. So. And I didn't really get to explore as many options.
Since we're talking conferences, this and that, what's your thoughts here? NIU going to the Pac-12 for wrestling?
I think it's awesome.
Oh, they're going for everything.
No.
They're Mountain West
or they're Mountain West for football.
Yeah.
Oh.
And other things. So that Mountain West doesn't have a wrestling there's no wrestling in that conference. So I think they needed to find an affiliate. So
I think it's great.
Okay.
But
I think it's interesting, but travel, how are you going to travel?
That's what I was going to say. You're NIU and you're wrestling. I mean, you've been a mid-major, so your budget, but now you got to travel all over to wrestle in your own conference. But maybe it was the same in the MAC. I don't know.
Well, all I know is that, a couple times I did talk to Coach Ludwig. He was driving a bus to the duels. So, I mean, can you imagine having to drive to California or where? I mean, who is in the Pac-12 right now?
Arizona State.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, so.
Isn't Stanford?
No, they're ACC.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't make sense either, does it?
Or Big 12. I don't know where they're at. They're somewhere.
Everything's changing, right?
I don't even know. There was only 4 teams in the Pac-12 last year. Wrestling tournament. Oregon State, Arizona State.
It's North Dakota State, Northern Colorado, South Dakota State, Air Force.
They just joined this year too.
Okay,
Yeah.
those are
All
in.
those teams came in. Yeah.
Let's see. Doesn't have a team list. Little Rock is in it. Oregon State. All right. Let's see.
Yeah, those. Yeah.
Well,
But
I mean, on their
you get-
website, I don't have a
so
team
if,
list.
Baker entered what is the 8th seed this year?
Yeah.
Winning the MAC. So if he wins the Pac-12, does that move him? Like,
Good question.
Conversation. Hey, he won a tougher conference, so we'll give him, higher
Yeah.
seed, a 6 or a 5. Changes a little bit of the dynamic who he's wrestling.
Yeah, they're going to have to start doing the same thing like the Big Ten does and wrestle like a Friday, Sunday, and then have that travel period or
certain area.
Well, here's maybe an interesting segue with all this stuff. Like, there was a conversation I heard referencing the governmental part of it. Like, they're trying to look for solutions to this, and sports could be cut in half. And so the other thing that's going to come from this is potentially losing programs. And what do you think? Like, how's that going to work? If I don't know. What are your thoughts on losing programs from all of this stuff?
Horrible.
Yeah.
I mean,
but we'll see. I mean, that's just a wait and see thing. That's like guessing, I mean,
well, it's going to be hard for some of these teams to change their travel schedules. It is definitely not a.
Well, changing a conference like NIU, you're changing, and now your athletic department has to change that budget for you, right? Your travel budget just increased. An expectation. So, I mean, that has to be I'm guessing when the athletic department is looking at that, because they're not only just for wrestling, going into the Mountain West for football, that changes that.
Yeah.
Budget. I mean, so now your budget has to increase, and that debt you're probably throwing out there is getting larger. So there's got to be some kind of a,
Yeah, when you're in the Mountain West, there's no bus rides. It's on the jet. And they're lucky the Rockford Airport's right there. So, I mean,
right.
20 miles from Cal.
When I was at NIU, that's where we would fly out back, would go to Pacific and wherever else you flew out of Rockford.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. I think in college sports, when you talk about the portal and everything else, and we're always talking, these programs have all this money, is the programs that in general don't have a lot of money. Their football teams aren't, big football teams. They're those mid-major football teams where they're not selling out every week. They're not getting TV revenue. Their basketball programs aren't. I mean, so
they're getting a pretty good chunk of change though when they go play a really good team in the non-conference games.
Right, but
look at that.
Still, I would like to see how many are actually operating on the plus side rather than the negative side overall.
As football teams, you mean?
Full athletic programs. I mean, even a school like Rutgers, I know you're getting a pretty good revenue share, but I mean, maybe they are selling out because they're up there on the East Coast, but across the board, I mean.
No. If you look at Rutgers, actually, you can find some video docs on YouTube about Rutgers. Rutgers has like the highest deficit right now. They're in a big hole.
They're negative, right?
Yeah, a lot, like over 50 million or something like that.
Just think about that. They got to travel across the entire United States. I mean, it's just nuts.
Exactly.
Well, they do have a nice wrestling program. They do not have a nice wrestling room, though.
No, they are New Jersey. And kind of crazy.
Then you think about sports like baseball and softball and track and tennis.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think about the Illinois program and how it sounds to me that the money from football and basketball is not finding its way to the other programs. The rev share is a good example of this, right? The rev share gives the athletic department the opportunity to distribute that $22.5 million or whatever. And like places like Iowa State and Penn State, and I would assume Iowa, if they're in the rev share, I'm not really sure if they are, I think they have to be, but or Ohio State, they're distributing a lot of money to the wrestling program, whereas I don't think Illinois is actually getting much of anything from the rev share.
Yeah, wasn't that part of Poeta's argument down there?
I don't know that if that was part of the argument. I mean, I'm sure that was I'm sure that was something that he wasn't thrilled about if that was the case. But, Illinois just goes to the Final Four. They, I was at the grocery store. Everybody's talking to each other with their Illini shirts on saying ILL. It's like, well, do you think they're trickling down to the other sports?
Those minor sports getting any kickbacks?
Yeah. Again, I was very surprised at the grocery store. I'm like, there's no way this many people from Loves Park went to University of Illinois. There's no way. But
well, see, what you're seeing finally now is a fan base being built up, because basketball and football at Illinois were kind of down for a while. And especially football, you look at the stadium when the games were there was hardly anybody there. But now they're building it up, and they love both their coaches.
Yeah.
When we donated some stuff from my Mary Ann's grandpa, who was the starting center for Illinois when Red Grange played, we talked to the guy who was like in charge of all the stuff, and he said that they just love them. They love those two guys. They're just competitive as hell, and they can do almost anything. They can get almost anything they want, which is great because that's how you get the fans there.
Yeah. No, they're definitely they're increasing the brand exposure by I mean, basketball does it almost every time when they I think basketball the last time they had success, that was right before I ended up going there. And I remember watching the basketball team, and I don't think I'm a basketball fan, but it was something captivating to get people connected to the university program. So Yep. But well, go ahead, Marty.
There's a lot of people that graduated from Illinois. It's crazy how many, they're all sprinkled in everywhere. Considering like where you went, Dalton, there was probably 100 kids that graduated from, maybe 200 from Elmhurst when you graduated, or same with like Loris. I mean, the fan base is just gigantic nationwide. Yeah. Where like Loris and Elmhurst, it's just kind of local and in between, 2 or 3 states.
Yeah, nobody.
What?
So where's Loris at?
It's just across the river, and it's right. It's just the first step.
The Rock River?
No, it's the first step into heaven.
Yeah. Yeah. When we got second in the country at Elmhurst, I went in the grocery store and nobody was yelling "Blue Jays, go Blue Jays." It was They weren't, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it was not as a big of a deal, but. Yeah, it is always interesting. There's a lot of things going on, but either way, anything else? Otherwise, we'll get out.
We got to get him to work.
Yeah, I got to get to work. Can't be late.
Yeah.
Do a favor for me, would you, Dan?
Yeah, what do you want?
Can you make a difference today with children?
You know what? I will try.
Okay, perfect.
Every day I try to do my best. Some days I'm successful. Some days, it's just.
I get it.
I'm with you.
Unlike Andrew Walters said, I do get all the basketballs, and any ball I have out, I get them back at the end of the hour. So,
all right, guys.
All right. Awesome. Good to see you guys.